Baseball has a marketing problem. Baseball has a marketing problem. And that, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why this happened. The other reason is because the owner of the Oakland A's wanted to go to a entertainment capital of the world and was tired of being told no as far as making a new stadium. They couldn't make it work. It is unfortunate, it is terrible, it is horrendous that this happened because it didn't need to. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse and go along the route of talking about how it's a shame and it's offensive that the Athletics chose to move from Oakland to Las Vegas. Instead, what I'm going to do is talk about this from the perspective of if you want things to change, then you have to change. Meaning, if the Athletics want people coming to their games when they move to Las Vegas, then make it matter. You have some of the top prospects in all of baseball hovering around your farm system with Nick Kurtz, with Jacob Wilson. You have household name like Brent Rooker that you are willing to invest in because you chose to keep him around. You chose to keep him around. Lawrence Taylor, who you gave a contract to, or Lawrence Butler, sorry. Lawrence Butler, who you gave a contract to before the season even started, showing you're willing to invest now. My question is, why are you willing to invest now and not when you were in Oakland? Last year, the talk of baseball was Oakland's electric closer, Mason Miller. Baseball has a marketing problem. How do you solve it? Well, I mean, back in the day, back when newspapers were still a thing, and that was the main source of advertisement, you know, I know that when you wanted buzz to be created, you take out a page in the newspaper. You take out an advertisement in the newspaper. And when people start seeing the same faces, when people start seeing the same faces on advertisements left and right, they start knowing who that person is, not by the number on their jersey, but by the face. Because they see the person everywhere, and then they start noticing the jersey number. And they know him by the jersey number. They know him by the face. They know him. They could pick him out of a crowd. If you keep, every couple of years shuffling new people in, shuffling new people out, and you don't let your team, your fans get attached to the players because they know in a couple of years a different crop of talent is going to be here, they're not going to invest. Because if they're going to see different people every single time, then why are they going to invest? Why are they going to care? Because they're not going to be able to get attached to players. They're not going to be able to grow an attachment to players and get any investment into the players because they're not going to see them after a couple of years. Just as they start getting attached to the players, those players are going to go away to a team that will pay them. So, you saw it with Barry Zito and Mark Mulder and Tim Hudson and Jason Giambi and Eric Chavez and Rich Harden and Chris Bassett, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on of people that the A's didn't pay. But you're making a move to the entertainment capital of the world in Las Vegas. Your stadium is being built. You're finally getting what you want. I would start by having Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz making media appearances in Las Vegas. Mason Miller making media appearances in Las Vegas. Lawrence Butler making media appearances in Las Vegas. Max Muncy, the young shortstop, which, by the way, the A's are in a fortunate position enough to have two premier young shortstops in in Max Muncy and Jacob Wilson, to where both the kids are going to have to find a position to play. But for once, they're going to have somebody dead set on being there when they move to Vegas, and that's Lawrence Butler. Two of the highest paid contracts in the history of the Athletics were made this offseason to Luis Severino and Lawrence Butler. The tides are changing for the Oakland A's, but you have to capitalize on it now and start marketing your future stars as people that will be here for the long term and not people that will be here for the next couple of years. And then when you actually have to start paying them, they go away. And there is another team that fits this mold, and that other team that fits this mold is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Because the Pirates have the talk of baseball. Last year, the talk of baseball as far as pitchers was Garrett Crochet, somebody nobody ever heard of before or coming into the 2024 season, to my knowledge. And then you had one of the top picks in the 2023 draft, Paul Skeens. I think that we've been down this road before with Garrett Cole. Are the Pirates going to let the competitive window open with Paul Skeens leading their rotation and being the talk of baseball and getting people there, and then he's gone? What about having the guys making media appearances? What about having them go out there and give people a reason to get attached to the face and be excited about baseball? You know, Paul Skeens going to a Little League park and just doing a public session, a public throwing session, getting to know the people. Or an open thing for the media at PNC Park where you get attached. You see Paul Skeens and you see McCutchen and you see, the guys that are known for being with the Pirates. You have legends come out. And you have Paul Skeens throwing to McCutchen and Pirates legend Jason Bay and Brian Giles and guys like that. And you just have fun. You have fun with it. Because ultimately, baseball is meant to be fun. There is no shortage of media potential in Las Vegas for the A's. I know that the A's are going to be playing at a minor league park in Sacramento I know they used to be called the River Cats. I don't know if they're still called the River Cats, but I'm going to call them the River Cats for argument's sake. But they're going to Vegas. They are going to Las Vegas. And it's just a matter of when they're going to be moving, which I believe is 2027, I think. 2028. So I understand that it's not a rush to get people down there, but the fact of the matter is, if Lawrence Butler is here for the long term, if Mason Miller is here for the long term, if um, Jacob Wilson, if Nick Kurtz, who by the way was one of who was their first round pick in last year's draft, if you know the kids are here for the long term, send them to Vegas and have them start doing some media appearances to get people excited and looking forward to the the athletics. What type of media appearances? I don't know. The Golden Knights are there. Have them go to a Golden Knights game. Have them go to Vegas, one of the Vegas shows, and just be there, take pictures, wear their uniform. It could be simple as that. Do a fun video where Lawrence Butler and the guys are walking around the Vegas Strip just taking videos, talking about baseball. Go to go to a 51s game or a minor league baseball game, which I think the A's minor league team is actually in Vegas anyway. As far as the Pirates are concerned, honestly, how popular are the Steelers? What about the 76ers? What about the Pittsburgh Penguins? All I'm saying is, if you have Paul Skeens go out, if you have McCutcheon go out, and you have him seen in public, that's marketing. That's the easiest form of marketing because it's a form, in my opinion, of viral marketing, where you can market the the sport in a way where oh, he's a Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. Oh, he's here. He's a fan of this too. Maybe I'll look at a Pirates game. You know, or you see him at a little league park because he wants to go see the next generation, or a high school game even because he wants to see the next generation. Have him go to a school and talk to the kids because Paul Skeens is just out of college. 4 years ago, Paul Skeens was still at school, and now he's in the big leagues. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He could go to a college and talk to the college kids about the adjustment to the majors. Jacob Wilson for the A's could do the same thing. Hell, Jacob Wilson could go to Jacob Wilson or Lawrence Butler could go talk to the minor league talk to the kids at the minor league stadium and do the same thing. But he has to be wearing some sort introduced as an athletics player or wearing some sort of garb that shows that he's an athletics player, making a media appearance because the media has to cover it and show him as an athletics player or show him as a Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. So you get to know the face. So when you see him in uniform, you know who he is. Baseball has a marketing issue. And honestly, the NFL is better at marketing their players. The NBA is better at marketing their players. The NHL is better at marketing players. Golf is better at marketing. Soccer is getting better. It's co-promotion. It's getting your guys out there and having them do commercials. It's getting their names out there so the non-sports fans know who they are and make an effort to see them when they see their pitching. So when they're flipping and they see, oh, it's Skeens, or oh, that's Lawrence Butler, or oh, that's this guy, or oh, that's Aaron Judge, that they know who they are. So when the postseason is on and they see them in the postseason, they're more likely to stick around and watch. You know, I'm not saying that, oh, back in the day, things were different, where everybody knew who Pete Rose was and everybody knew who Keith Hernandez was and Gary Carter and, Ryan Sandberg and blah, 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 blah. The reason why more people may have known back then is because there was less going on back then. There was less to take your attention away from the sport. So there was less, it was easier because also the newspaper. You could put somebody front and center. You could put your best player on the newspaper cover or on an advertisement in the news, and their face was there. Keith Hernandez has been the face of a Gold commercial for the last 15 years. And he's not even an active player anymore. The people, bad example, but O.J. Simpson with rent-a-cars, car rentals. It's a marketing, it's a back and forth give and take. And I'm not a pro at marketing, but I know that baseball has a marketing problem and they're not marketing their players to a mainstream audience as well as they should be. Because, in my opinion, back when Mike Trout was at his peak, how is he not Superman? When he made that play in Baltimore, where he scaled the wall and made an incredible catch in Baltimore that year, that play that I know at least one person knows the play I'm talking about. And let's see if Getty Images has the image. Home run. Here. No. Oh, no, it wasn't Mike Trout. It was, wait, I'm confused. But with all that Trout was doing, look at him. At one point, Mike Trout was Superman. At one point, Mike Trout was Superman. And how he was not pushed as the Superman of the major leagues, I don't know. There was no renderings of him as Superman. There was no renderings of him in any way, shape, or form, like as the star. Where people outside MLB knew who he was. And that's what I'm saying that the baseball needs to get better at. So Paul Skeens, so Jacob Wilson, so Lawrence Butler, that I'm not saying nationwide. I'm saying when the A's move to Vegas, if they have Lawrence Butler and Jacob Wilson and Mason Miller, and that those guys are making appearances at Golden Knights games, and they're making appearances at the shows in Vegas, and just going around the casinos, and making fun videos with fans, building excitement for the A's. What about that? What about that? So people know who Lawrence Butler is and Jacob Wilson. And that, yes, I firmly believe that Paul Skeens has what it takes to be a nationally known superstar. But you got to get his name out there. Baseball has a marketing problem. And it's been that way for years. It has been that way for years. But there's tools out there where you can fix it to where it's not a problem anymore. You know, because do I think that people know? If you ask who people know, who people could pick out of out of a group of pictures, Paul Skeens, um, Aaron Rodgers, or um, Sidney Crosby. Aaron Rodgers is a bad one. George Pickens, Paul Skeens, George Pickens, or Sidney Crosby. I think a lot of people are going to say they know who Sidney Crosby is and George Pickens, but I don't know. A lot of people are going to say they know who Paul Skeens is. And yes, he was a rookie in baseball last year, but the fact is, he's the top player with the Pirates. He's the top player with the Pirates, and he's going to be one of the most talked about players in the MLB. What about it? You know, what about it? How can they fix it? How can they fix it? You know, your guess is as good as mine. But what I do know is there's simple ways to fix it. Do I think that the newspaper would still suffice? No. What about a billboard? There's simpler ways. Use the internet. Media appearances here and there, live things with, the kid, going to a college and doing a talk, having the team go to a college, go to a local school, and do a talk with the future star, the people getting drafted, the people that could be going into the draft. The adjustments needed to make it to the major leagues, being on the field with the kids, being on the field with the kids, being able to play with guys like Paul Skeens and Andrew McCutchen and Lawrence Butler and Mason Miller and Justin Verlander and Clayton Kershaw and guys like that. It's like you have you have the simple way of doing it where, oh, that was nice of him to do. Oh, now I know who that is. You just, any way you can get their name out there. And it's not, putting them on the billboard promoting season tickets, because what if the person doesn't give two shits about baseball? Have them go and promote a bat at Dick's Sporting Goods and do an autograph session. And have Dick's Sporting Goods put up a billboard of them. Or have, Costco put up a billboard of them. Or have, combine with people and make do, because it'll make it work for you and make it better. I'm not the one to sit here and say how to, the be all end all to fix it. I'm just the one trying to get the conversation going. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comment section below. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one.